This is Formula SAE FastCast, the official podcast of the Formula SAE series.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Formula SAE FastCast. Today we're going to be talking about Formula SAE Michigan coming up in just a few short weeks. I'm joined with Kaylee Zundel, Program Manager for Formula SAE, and Martha Tress, who is our Corporate Sponsorship Lead here at CDS. And we have a lot of great things to share with you. Some updates on what you can expect for competition, as well as some sponsor updates. There's a lot going on in that realm as well. We already talked about in an earlier news piece release the endurance changes, so we can briefly touch on that. Any other major updates, we'll hit those through the next few minutes. What do you want to start with?
So one of the things we haven't released yet to the student teams, which isn't new, we actually did it last year, but we will be once again pre-assigning the tech inspection numbers. We were waiting to get a little bit more of the SES documents approved, which like the final approval kind of stuff. Some of the teams are still going back and forth with their reviewers. So we pull that list based on when approved. And then this is actually probably something you would have a little bit more input on, would be the Formula SAE app.
Yeah, so we are about to release a Formula SAE app. And actually, when this goes live, you may even have it in the App Store available. We're running several projects at once right now, so timing may be interesting here moving forward. But the app is going to allow you to see all kinds of really cool features. We'll have a paddock map. We're going to have the ability to favorite your favorite teams, including your own or your rival or whatever, and follow their scoring notifications throughout the week. We will be able to push news information to you. So instead of only relying on social media or only relying on the announcer, we'll still have both of those things working, but we will also be pushing specific news through the app. So at least one person on your team should have that app. In fact, everybody on your team that has access to a phone or a device should have that. You're going to be able to connect using the mobile scoring Wi-Fi. So although that won't allow you to get on the internet, it is going to allow you to use the app and use all of the updated functionality on the app. So that's a really cool addition. We're really excited about that. We think it's going to be a game changer in terms of competitor experience. It's something that you guys have been asking for a long time. And this team internally really went hard on trying to figure out what that right combination of making it something that's unique for you and also really useful and valuable. So
I was going to say, I think it's important to note too that this is just the first year we're rolling it out. So we are going to be looking for improvements, processes, and feedback, and even what's going to be more valuable to you as the student team. So obviously there's a chance to provide feedback on survey about that. You can also reach out and talk to any of us on site. We'll all be in those lovely little blue SAE shirts. But this is something that, we're really investing in. So, providing us your feedback is truly important. And I think for the team members who have been around at least a couple years now, you see that we actually take the feedback from the surveys pretty seriously. We really do try to make the changes that not only give you guys the best experience, but improves the value of the competition overall, as well as, honestly, even makes some of our lives a little bit easier. So, but with regards to additional changes, I don't think there's really a whole lot that we're going to be changing this year with regards to the event operations. We're still going to exercise the drivers' meetings, which are going to be more of a Q&A session type versus informational. The PowerPoints will be online, and all drivers are required to review those prior to the event. We will still be doing our panoramic photo. It will always be scheduled for a certain day with a weather pending, backup date. The real big changes are coming with regards to mostly the endurance day versus the overall dynamic days. And we did talk about that a little bit in the podcast, specifically for endurance.
Which will be released soon.
Okay. But I feel like I am going to call out, all teams will be getting a welcome letter from me. We'll be posting some new updates too on the news page too, because these are pretty important. One of the biggest changes is on Endurance Day. Because we are extending the track, teams aren't going to have the leisure of leaving whenever they want on Endurance Day. That gate that teams used to be able to travel across will no longer be open. So, we'll be addressing this numerous times prior to the event, during the event. If teams know they are absolutely not running on Saturday, which means you didn't pass inspection by 5:30, then, and you are going to want to leave early on Saturday, then we really are going to encourage you to leave with your trailer on Friday night. We can find available parking if you can't take it to a hotel and you want to come watch Saturday's events. That's not a problem.
Yeah, returning as a spectator is totally appropriate, and you can park in the normal parking lot and come in.
Yep. As long as you can come through the pedestrian tunnels, that's not a problem. And then for the teams who say do run the morning session and don't fare so well or have left and because of budget constraints can't stay for the rest of the event, need to get on the road quicker to save cost. We are currently working on a process of opening. It's called Gate 50. It's actually where Skid Pad runs on Friday events. However, because both ways to access that gate will be occupied either by student teams waiting in line or practice track, because we're relocating that for Saturday only. Right now we're working on possibly having that available only during lunch shutdown. So more information will come on that too. And then the other real big change is there's going to be no photography allowed on track this year.
Let's clarify that, Kayla.
Yes.
It's not that you're prohibiting photography in general. It's just that there won't be a specific area for photographers to stand on track.
Correct. So if you have a university press, official with you, or you are taking it on behalf of the university press, meaning you will have some kind of a credential or professional media that comes in and to cover our event, we will be escorting them out on the track as we typically do with regards to professional media. So, but we will be making our best attempts. We will have a photographer on site all week starting Thursday, and we will be making those photos available as well. We are still working on the process of how to make those available, whether on a daily basis or at the conclusion of the event, but those will be available too, so students will be able to get access to photos. And obviously, if you have a really good camera with a photographic lens, you can take the photos you need through the fencing. Just, you're not going to be able to use your cell phones.
Yeah, which you shouldn't have out on a live track anyways.
Correct.
All right.
But, yeah.
Anything else, Kaylee?
No, I think really Martha should have the floor because she's the one that has all the major changes coming through that are pretty exciting.
Yeah, so last year we kept saying, oh, it's such a great year for Formula Michigan, for sponsors, and well, they did it again this year, guys. They blew it out of the water, and Martha has all kinds of really cool changes from old sponsors, or returning sponsors, I guess, as well as some new sponsors, which is really exciting to see more and more sponsors kind of trying to jump in the arena here and try to hire our students. So really cool.
So we've got quite a lineup of longtime supporters and new sponsors coming in this year. But the first thing I want to talk about is the sponsor skill shops that are occurring on Wednesday only. We listened to your feedback last year that you said it was difficult to get there Thursday. So we have 15 lined up for Wednesday. The registration is live, and we've got a couple of them that are already up to 45 seats for a 60-seat room. So if you're considering it, you better get there. And one of the things that you want to consider too is that we're going to close the doors for 5 minutes prior to each event. If you were registered and you don't make it there at 5 minutes till, your seat will be given to someone that's standing by hoping to get a seat. So look for all that information through the app on the news feed. The other thing is we're going to be launching a store And there's going to be some items that we're hoping that you're going to like, some sweatpants and some hoodie, beanie cap, silicone wallet, lots of little different things. Decals, Formula SAE decals. So we're going to have a limited amount there on site, but the store is going to probably be open before we're there at Michigan in May.
And that link will be on the app menu as well.
Absolutely. The third thing, before I get to all the sponsors, is there's a lot of awards money out there that's up for grab. Get out there, fill out the information. Just go to the Formula Michigan page, go to the awards, and you can see that there's specialty awards down towards the bottom of the page. Get out there, fill out their forms, submit them. A lot of them aren't a lot of work. It's just a simple one-page submission. Take advantage, get that money.
I'll link to that on the podcast page as well.
Yeah, and I think some of the students in past years, you used to be able to apply on site, and I think it's really important that we encourage these students to apply now, because this is sometimes the individual who's coming or who's reviewing the awards isn't necessarily the one who gets to be able to come on site too. So you don't want to miss out by waiting to do that.
Right. So those are the couple of things. And then when you look at the number of sponsors that are going to be on site, as you come through, the first place you arrive is the paddocks. And this year it's sponsored by Honda. And they're really excited. They're going to be having that pizza party on Thursday and Friday for the teams. So we'll have more about that, of which teams get to pick up their pizza from Honda on Thursday and which ones on Friday. If you leave the paddock then and go towards the Garage 1, you'll see Ford off to your left with their big trailer, as they've been doing this last several years. And they're also the sponsor of endurance and fuel efficiency. At registration, you'll see a new company this year that we're really excited about, Nissan, and they're sponsoring your registration. So you're going to have a nice little bag that you can carry all your items back from registration in. You leave registration, you'll see GM in their corner there across from Garage 1. And they are, of course, I've already ordered the barista trailer. So they're going to be having the internet cafe. They will be giving out coupons again to students that come in and visit them and talk with them to get a free beverage, whether it's a hot beverage or cold beverage. Hopefully it's a cold beverage, because that means we're having nice weather. So we'll take that any day up there. After you've walked past them, you're going to see Cummins represented at technical inspection. You're going to see Bosch represented at design. And they're bringing back the popcorn this year. They heard a lot of comments last year that where's the popcorn? For those of you that haven't been there, in 2016, they went through an enormous amount of bags of popcorn. So be ready for that. And in between garages 2 and 3, you're going to see a very large tent. You need to stop in and visit, because there is going to be a whole host of sponsors, new and old, in there. McLean Fogg and FEV, Aerotech, AVL, Altair, Denso, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. You know, those rocket people are going to be there. MathWorks and Siemens to cover your software needs. Forcia, Multimatic, and Textron, all new ones this year, and ACE also is joining us. You'll also notice that when you go to your dynamic events, then you're going to see Akibono at Break. You're going to see Molly at Practice Track. You're going to see Magna at Autocross. Cooper Tire, they've joined us for Skid Pad this year. And we've got quite a line. Of course, you're going to see Ford at Endurance.
Roush at Acceleration.
And Roush then is going to be at Acceleration, and they're also bringing a nice tractor trailer for you to come and check out. So be sure and do that. ZF was always in between Garage 2 and 3. They haven't left us. They're just repositioning. They're going to be in a suite, and they are going to be doing a resume critiquing. So be ready to take that service, because that's a nice little expense at no charge to you students. And doing headshots. So they're going to have a photographer there, and the hours are all in the student handbook and the event guide so that you can check that out.
So bring your dress clothes.
Yeah, be ready for that.
Look pretty.
Yeah, wear whatever you wore to sales presentation, maybe. And then not to forget SolidWorks. Those shirts that we had last year, the long sleeve shirts, are coming back with the design from the winning team from last year. I think then we moved to Hoosier. Of course, Hoosier's coming back with Service Your Tires. And then, of course, we always have the Lincoln Electric and Brule and Care doing noise and Sunoco and several other software friends of Formula that are going to be there. So
as you can see, we have a lot of sponsors with a lot of changes. It is amazing we can actually keep it all, clear.
Well, I didn't say I was keeping it clear. I never said that. I never promised that.
On that point, one thing we are going to be adding to the app is kind of a guide to the sponsors. So if you're really interested in a company or two or three, we're going to have a little blurb about each sponsor on the app so you can understand where you can find them, right? Where you can find them, what they're doing, if they're doing a skill shop, if they're sponsoring an event. All these are really great talking points for you to walk up to a sponsor and start talking to them. So we're making it a little bit easy, considered a cheat sheet maybe a little bit.
And they may have already been reaching out to the students by now.
That's right.
So you might have already heard from them, and they're very excited to play at Formula Michigan with you and visit and maybe hire you.
Yeah, I mean, we keep talking about, I feel like every episode we talk about how these sponsors want to hire our students, and it just keeps growing, right? Every time you talk to a sponsor, they're like, oh, we just added 200 more jobs that we're looking for. And they're up to like thousands now that they're looking for.
It's just, the growth is just incredible, and they can't even utilize all the experience that are out there in the universe because there's not enough for the need. So that's why you guys are so important to these organizations in the future.
So take advantage of the headshot and the resume critique. Make sure you bring printed copies of your resume. Make sure you could make a little list of sponsors you definitely want to talk to and connect with. Once you go through that, make another list and hit them as well. Bringing all of the sponsors into a tent is we've tried it at other events recently with this particular setup, and it really works well. So we hope that you guys are going to have a good experience with that. As always, please provide your feedback.
And we also want to thank Pure Michigan Talent Connect because they're sponsoring the skill shop. So they're going to be there kind of announcing the speakers for each one. So be sure and thank them because they're really stepping it up a notch. And their focus is to keep and hopefully attract and retain people into Michigan because there are so many automotive suppliers, companies, and other industries that are setting up there in Michigan. So something to consider.
Yeah, awesome. Anything else, Kaylee?
I think the only thing sponsor-wise we didn't mention was Roush will continue to have their acceleration viewing area.
Good one.
So that's always a fun area because I believe they give you snacks inside that room. But you can be either in the air-conditioned suite or you can be outside on their patio, which is kind of cool.
Also can take really great shots from up there.
Exactly. And, and I think last year it was pretty packed, actually. The one time I went there, it was really packed. So, if you do find that it's a little too busy for your taste, you don't like being in crowds, just a reminder, you can continue to go up one more floor to the, I guess that's the third floor, to the ceiling or the rooftops where you can also view down from there as well. You may definitely want to make sure you're attending the welcome ceremony this year because we will have the event captains of endurance talking about some 2019 options. And so if you are a driver or maybe even have just a special interest in that, you may want to attend that because we are going to definitely be looking for some feedback about that too. The two options that we have highlighted are really, really going to change things for how that event is run, as well as just our general operations of logistics, where people can be and not be, things like that.
Yeah, I think it was Laura that said there's really awesome opportunities on both options, but at the same time, there's also some downsides of each one that students will need to weigh and really think about what they would prefer.
Just as we will. We'll really be outweighing the pros and cons of each option too.
Yeah, from the volunteer and the operations side.
Did we talk about getting more bleachers this year?
I don't know if we actually addressed whether we will get any more bleachers. So due to the fact that we are extending the endurance event, which really will only be the event that kind of has the advantage, other than practice. If you go out and you watch your teams on Thursday and Friday practice event, the volunteers there have made that pretty exciting over the last couple of years, giving you some of the events within the practice area where you can do a slalom or practice your skid pad turning, things like that. We will have an additional bleacher set to utilize for that area, as the endurance event will be extending all that way now. So I think, if I remember correctly, in past years we've had 4 bleacher sets, and I think we are now moving to 5, or we had 3 and we're now moving to 4. I really can't remember.
I thought we were
but I think it's going to 5
for more capacity.
Yes, we are definitely going to more capacity, because one of the things we will once again be telling teams is that your personal vehicles or your FSAE trailer vehicle that you park in the paddock must remain in the paddock. There will be no vehicles parked out there. Any vehicles that are actually parked out there are our SCCA volunteers who are literally coming in for the day and leaving immediately after the event. So if you do see some vehicles, that's going to be theirs. We will be doing our best effort to tell every team to keep their vehicle in the paddock. And if we do see you out there with it, guess what? We were going to tell you to move it too. So we are increasing bleachers in hopes that that will
help that.
Yeah. Will assist with the, seating arrangements.
Yeah. So just want to wrap up real quick with surveys. We sing this song all the time too. Surveys are really important to this group, and every single person on our team reads every single comment that comes in for every single competition. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of work, but it's something that we take very seriously. And Kaylee happens to be the biggest student voice on our team, and we'll go to bat for you guys every single chance she gets. So please, please, please fill out your survey after the competition. You'll get an email. As long as you're registered for your team, you'll get an email that has the survey link in it. Fill that out. Take it seriously. Don't just provide complaints. Also provide solutions or suggestions, or
give us some context behind what you're telling us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The more detailed, the better.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I don't know how many times I hear like the volunteer was, I'm just going to throw out the example. The volunteer was rude. Like, if you can provide names. I mean, we do volunteer training and, how we should be addressing everybody. And, unfortunately, I think it does come down to if you give us respect or them respect, they will return that respect. But sometimes maybe that is a lost art. And so, yes, feedback. I mean, if you can provide as much detail as you can, position, place, whatever, name. Also, like Amanda said, honestly, I'm going to be quite frank, and I say it every welcome and award ceremony, that I will truly take your feedback to heart. I will try to do my best if it's something we can improve upon. If it is a nicely written, constructive feedback about maybe what we did wrong or what we didn't do wrong and what are some ideas we can move forward. If you're just going to tell me we did a horrible job and we suck, guess what? I'm really not going to take that feedback very serious, because I don't know what you mean by that. I mean,
kind of like the pizza. The Honda orders 1,200 pizzas, 600 each day, and it's cheese because that's what we can afford when we're buying 1,200 pizzas.
Well, not only that, but I mean, I don't think
free.
Very much like our volunteers. So when we feed our volunteers, I have to take in consideration those who are vegetarian, those who have some type of allergy, to those who can eat anything under the sun. So when we are trying to feed 2,000 plus students, we unfortunately do have to go the simplest method, and we do have teams who definitely have team members who can't eat meat, so cheese pizza it is.
It's the best we can do.
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys have a heads up on the pizza. Like I said, fill out your survey. That'll be coming via email, and
hopefully we'll see a lot of teams on Tuesday night between 4 and 6.
Yeah, early reg. Early reg will be there. You guys can come in between
4 and 6.
4 and 6.
Must be dropping off your vehicle trailer, though. If you don't drop off the trailer, you don't get to register. And it really helps, too, if your fast track forms are completed.
Yes. Make sure you're green and make sure you've printed your fast track roster and make sure everybody has signed it. You do those 3 things and we will be happy.
Yeah.
And so will you.
Correct. Everybody will be happy.
And not everybody has to come if you follow those steps. If your fast track roster has everybody who's physically attending the competition on it and you are green and you've printed it off and you're going to drop off the trailer, you really only need maybe the 2 or 3 people. We're going to allow 1 commuter vehicle to follow the Formula transport car because obviously those who are dropping off the vehicle need a ride out. And it's only gate 12 that will be open, and you'll see information about that in the welcome letter as well as on the news page. So,
And if they're a big team, sometimes they want to bring more than 1 person to registration to get their programs, to get their shirts, and whatever else is being given out.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the SAE student giveaway this year.
Top secret.
I know. I really want to tell people, though.
Don't do it.
I think the teams will really love it this year. Based on some of the feedback we've gotten over the past couple of years, this one will not only be very usable for you, but I think it's just going to be a really cool little...
We're excited. Can you
It's going to
tell?
make people jealous, put it that way.
You will definitely be the talk of the campus when someone walks by and you have this sitting
You might even
Don't
be
give it
able
away.
near you.
You might even be able to persuade some of those volunteers who don't get this cool
Yeah.
item for a good point or 2.
And I don't think Bajas were getting it.
Nope, they're not.
Just
They're
formula.
All right, guys, be safe. We'll see you at competition.
Thanks for listening to Formula SAE FastCast. As always, we want to hear from you, so email us at formulasae@sae.org. The show notes for this episode can be found at www.fsaeonline.com. Stay safe, and we'll catch you next episode.